Hello, vinyl community. My name is Russ Shaw, and this is the vinyl tag. I know. I'm doing another vinyl tag. This is the youngest members of the vinyl community 2022-2023 tag, all right? For record, you know what I mean. This is brought to you by Limeos. It's the newest cereal on a Saturday night. It's a nice bowl of Limeos. Lime cereal. A record store day glass. The youngest members are not 21 yet, so I mean, caution, all right, in your life moving forward. I should know. This is my record store day glass. I got at a freaking yard sale, like just a block over. I was like, holy smokes, that is so cool. Gotta pick that up. It was like 50 cents or something like that. All right. Question number one. A St. Louis related record. Do I have a St. Louis related record? This woman, Tina Turner. Ike and Tina Turner were from St. Louis, all right? Okay. Number two, an album that starts with N. Well, the band starts with N, and the album starts with N. This is Nirvana's Nevermind. It is still in the shrink. Haven't opened it yet. And I plan on opening it soon. This is speaking of nostalgia, that's another question, but we'll go there later when I uncellophane this guy. This comes with a 7-inch, by the way, which is pretty cool. Got this at the legendary Easy Street Records in West Seattle. And so that's number two. So the question was asked, where should we go on, I'm cooking popcorn in there. Never mind. All that in the other room. Where should we go? Like I guess the youngest members of the VC get together and they go to a city. And I'm thinking Seattle was brought up by Emma over there. There's also the Record Spinner. I follow his channel as well. And this is a band, IE. These guys have been doing it for 40 years out there in clubs around the city. And they are amazing. So this record is See You in Seattle. Has to do with the World's Fair. Also wanted to share this. This is a coin that I got. Speaking of the World's Fair. See, there's that. I have to go get the popcorn out of the thing. So yeah, this is a coin that was made during the World's Fair. It's 1962. Elvis was here. That was pretty cool.
Hey kid, how would you like to kick me in the shin?
How would I like to kick you in the shin?
Huh?
Mister, are you drunk?
No kidding. I'll tell you what. If you kick me in the shin real hard, I'll give you a quarter. Okay, go ahead, play it. Ah! Whew. It's a good one. It's a good one, boy.
Adams, they're all nuts.
They built the Space Needle and the monorail and all that stuff is still here, so we haven't torn any of that down to build condos yet. Tower Records, where Tower Records used to be, is condos now. And Easy Street Records, that used to be at the bottom of Queen Anne Hill, is now a bank. But now Easy Street is in West Seattle. It's a legendary location. You should come to my city, Mazzy's second city, from where he's from. Mazzy makes his home here in Seattle now. Beautiful, great city. So I do gig work in the city. Here's a little video from, I fixed these under lights under a cabinet in this condo. And then I did that in like 15 minutes. But we bill for the hour. So I had an hour, right? Hour minimum. And then went for just a walk like a block down the street. And this is the view. Right over there. Come to Seattle. We would love to have you. My wife and I, we live in Everett, which is about, on a good day, traffic-wise, about 25 minutes. Less than a half hour from the city. north, and we have property, you know. I mean, you can't stay in the house. We have a really small house, but big backyard. We even have some property in the backyard. If you come in the summer, heck, we have tents. We could host. You can stay in the backyard, man. We won't even charge you. I know London was on the list of the places they wanted to go. It's expensive. Seattle can be expensive. There is some cool Airbnbs in the city. I met a guy when I was doing Uber and Lyft during the PAX conference. So PAX is a video gaming conference that happens here in the city. Now they have it kind of East Coast, West Coast. They've kind of scattered it around. But for a while, it just happened in Seattle. And there was a guy who went on Airbnb. He was a gamer and loves PAX. So he went out in his yard and basically measured 10 by 10 squares all over his front yard and rented out camping space to stay in his front yard. He goes, I made like $1,500. And then he didn't really think it through. So he got he rented like a porta potty. He didn't want people coming in the house. That was pretty funny. I don't care if you come in the house, but the bathroom situation might be a challenge. I'm not going to lie. Favorite summer road trip album? I have a lot, but when it comes to taking long trips on the road, this is a pretty cool go-to. Not just album, but band. Found this. It's still got this sticker on it from like Payless back in the day. Our price $7.99. And just I don't know, something about ZZ Top and driving. It's just a great driving record. Another one that we like to listen to on the road. My wife remembers so my wife has family in LA, Long Beach area. My wife was born in Downey, California, which is around the place where Reissue, he's wearing shirts from Downey, California. We're like, my wife's like, I was born in Downey. So we, chatted back and forth about that. So anyway, so my wife's from that area, right? She's got family down there. We used to drive down there. I mean, we've driven to LA from Seattle a few times. And this is one of those songs, you hit the kind of the desert part, right? Put on some Hotel California. This record, by the way, I got at a thrift store for like 50 cents. Record that reminds me, my wife, and the kids even, of driving across California. Didn't want to stop at any hotels. Use the bathroom, right? You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. All right, best new discovery of 2022. This band right here, Larkin Poe, Blood Harmony. This came out in 2022. This is the first I've heard of this band. So in Seattle, there's a club called the Crocodile, and this is an old club, been around for a while. Nirvana's played there, Soundgarden, like all the old. I mean, if you think of like the Whiskey a Go-Go and the Rainbow in LA, the Crocodile is kind of like that for Seattle. And these ladies played over the summer. I think it was over the summer or the fall, and sold the place out really fast. So I'm like, oh, I have to check this out. So I pulled it up on my streamer, and I love the band so much that I went on their website and almost bought this album. But instead I called Silver Platters. It's my favorite records chain in Seattle. There's like three locations in the Seattle metro area, and they ordered it up for me, and I got this for like $25. Their website was going to charge me like $7 shipping for the same record. But this is cool. It's like a limited edition. Bags in the river, and the river runs deep, and the deep stays down. Vinyl. Larkin Poe. Just an awesome blues rock and kind of band. Love this album. My wife and I listened to it tonight.
Cutters and the family name. A buzz
Self-proclaimed.
Was there a bad song on this record?
I like the whole record.
The whole record is amazing.
Take the fight out of me.
The deep stays down. The deep stays down. Poster, right? And then you got the back. Some more liner notes and such on the back. Larkin Poe. Amazing. Amazing rock and roll. Bluesy rock and roll stuff. I love that bluesy rock and roll stuff. Larkin Poe. Next one. Show a record with an animal on the cover. This is a White Snake. And the Slide It In record. You got a snake on the front. And she's wearing the snake like a pendant jewelry. Which is kind of cool. And the snake on the back. This is a great record. It's not a bad song on this record. This is an amazing freaking record if you like that kind of 80s metal stuff. Name a record with Cheap or Trick in the... I have Cheap Trick records, but I felt like that was cheating. I don't know, maybe I should share my Cheap Trick records, but again, I did Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. I love this record. I would rather have the Albert Productions, you know, the Australian pressing. I'd love to get a copy of that because I think the artwork on it's better. This is one of those, I don't know, psychedelic or whatever it is, some fancy, who cares? Like this is, I mean, it's all right. It's an okay cover, but it's nothing like the original. The original's better. I've seen AC/DC fans, like hardcore AC/DC fans, have that tattoo that's on the cover. Bon Scott has the tattoo with a parrot, you know, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. All right, this next one. All right, the reason this album is nostalgic for me is because I saw the show when they came here to Seattle. That I have around seeing Metallica. Not a big place, all right? So Metallica back then, this is like their third album, I can't remember, but this wasn't popular music in the 80s. You didn't hear this on the radio unless it was like in the metal shop. Here in Seattle, we had KISW 99.9, the metal shop, right? And they would play Metallica, edgy stuff back then. So there's my nostalgia for you. Question number 9, Kissin time. Show a Kiss record. Okay, so I just got this recently for $5 at Daybreak Records. There's some great record stores in the city. Daybreak is one of my favorites because they have a lot. The guy buys a lot of collections and moves that stuff out the door quickly. So $5, and from what I understand, because of the embossed, correct me if I'm wrong, but because of the embossed jacket on this is the first release of this record. Casablanca label. I shared that in the last video. So there's my Kiss record. Show a colored record. I have a couple. I want to share a couple. Question number 10, favorite colored pressing. I think this is my favorite splatter vinyl pressing. This is from Teenage Bottle Rocket. Sick. Sheesh. That's the name of the record. Teenage Bottle Rocket, some great kind of skater punk. There's another one, fairly nostalgic as well, Grunt Truck. Grunt Truck's a great grunge band from back in the day. It's funny, the only band that Beavis and Butthead didn't rip on. I have the hype sticker. So there was only 2,500 of these made. I think I crumpled up the cellophane and quickly shoved it in my pocket immediately after buying this record. And there's a reason for that, because the band was there. Surviving members of the band were there to sign the record, which is very cool. So those are the signatures. Tommy, guitarist, he was in a band called Accused metal band who's actually now touring around the country, I believe. Before Grunt Truck, he did metal stuff. Grunt Truck's just a great band. It is on colored vinyl, so this is very cool. Like a marbled red and yellow, orange and yellow, I don't know. Love this record. Put that in your streamer. Rock that stuff. That is some good stuff. Tribe. It's a great song on here. Number 11. Show your favorite 7-inch in your collection. I don't have a lot of 7 inches. Not a big 45 guy. I sold a lot of 45s at our yard sale thing that we had. A lot of them went. I kept a couple. This is one I got around Halloween time. Ghost Hunter's Moon. So this came out in 2021 from Halloween Kills soundtrack. Fun fact also about Ghost. They just did a featuring version of the song Spillways with Joe Elliott.
That's not what I said.
What's your name?
It's Joe.
Give it up, applause to Joe, guys. Come on.
Right.
Desolation led you into this violent carnation of pain, joy, and pain ain't over now.
But at the end, he throws like a 7-inch on the table in the bar. You know, it looks like a 7-inch of that song, Def Leppard triangle thing with the spillways, right? I got family in Arizona, so we stopped by the In Groove. I actually tried to interview Mike and lost half of my footage, but I'll put a link at the end screen. How's that in this video? You can see me talking with Mike there at the In Groove a little bit. I got one of his T-shirts. We got this there. It was a good price too. So this is a live Bowie record on marbly blue. I don't know if you can see the marbliness of it. Blue vinyl. Very cool. We Could Be Heroes. Limited edition blue vinyl. Legendary broadcasts. From the In Groove in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm Mike from the In Groove in Phoenix, Arizona. That's how he starts everything out. I love that guy. Great channel. Number 13. Lucky number 13, people. Show a bootleg. I got a couple that I got recently. Record store on Capitol Hill called the Spin Cycle. The only record store on Broadway in Capitol Hill. So here's a Nirvana. This is a bootleg, man. California Live, 1991. It sounds great. This sounds like not a bootleg. It's on a 180 gram color vinyl. It came out in 2015. I mean, they're pressing bootlegs in 2015. And look at this. It came in a poly sleeve. I opened this. It was still in the cellophane. All right. Live in California. Nirvana. DOR label, whoever that is, right? So there's that. There's this one. And I also got Drain You, Nirvana. This is another bootleg. It says live at Pier 48, Seattle, December 13th of 1993. On the pier, on the waterfront in Seattle, it's a lot different now. But I think they're really trying to make more of a touristy draw to the waterfront, because it's where there's a lot of shops and restaurants and boats, you know, the ferries are there, and there's touristy stuff that goes around the city. This is live. This one doesn't sound as good. It doesn't sound very good at all. This sounds all right for a live show. It's a live show, But Westwood One FM radio back in the day. Nirvana, 2 Nirvana bootlegs. All right, the perfect winter album. I don't know if it's the perfect winter album, but it's an album that I like, that I enjoy. When I saw this at Daybreak Records for, again, like $7 maybe. This is Cinderella's Long Cold Winter. I like Cinderella. All the haters who hate 80s, it's kind of love to dump on Cinderella. Cinderella's a Philly band too. Love this album. I like this record a lot. The Long Cold Winter. That would be my number 14. A favorite album from a Illinois band. There's a lot of great... I mean, we're talking Chicago here, right? Like, Chicago is the birthplace of the blues. If it wasn't for Chicago, we may not have rock and roll at all.
Save my life, I'm going down for the last time.
Never been any reason. That's a great tune. Love that tune. So head east, there they are, enjoying some pancakes at a pancake house somewhere in central Illinois, I imagine. Another cool Illinois kind of record. So my wife and I, during the pandemic, this is like 2020, my wife was looking around on OfferUp, like at free stuff. Like, we were broke. Like, I was a Uber and Lyft driver, but that's the last time I did that, right? Because all of a sudden we got this deadly virus going around. 400 records. Like 400 records. So come pick up 400 vinyl LP records. And we're like, swing, right? Like, yeah. We go over there. And this guy, nothing valuable in here at all. You know, we're like, well, you know, we'll be the judge of that. And right off the bat, there's like a Black Sabbath Volume 4 and an old copy of Back in Black. But Back in Black smelled like beer. It was like covered in beer and almost sticky. So that one needed to be clean. Here's one that came from that collection. This was pretty cool because Chicago from Illinois also, they also had a record store day release of this, if I'm not mistaken. But we got this one for free. This is still pretty cool. Came with this poster kind of thing of the band, introduction. So anyway, Chicago, that's kind of cool. Free, we got this for free. We got a lot of records for free. I can't even remember all the stuff we got. We did keep, what percentage do you think we kept of that collection that we didn't give to the thrift store? Maybe 20%? 25%?
Yeah, I don't know.
The rest of them were mostly like landfill records. I got that from RJ and Gary down there at Daybreak Records. He would talk about that. Like, people, like, if you're a record seller, if you're in the record business, you just don't. Oh, here's the book. This is cool. Look at this. You just don't want landfill records. So this is something it came with. And landfill records are records that you could, you know, put in your bargain bin for $1 and they'll go nowhere for years. So those records sadly belong in a landfill. Especially if you don't have a lot of space, you know. You have a little space, you got to get inventory in, get inventory out, move it quickly. If you want to make money, you don't hold on to landfill records. So yeah, it was about 80% or what, I don't know, percentage-wise, landfill records. I believe this is Carnegie Hall. All right. So this is made in 1971. And there's just a lot of cool photos. We're talking about voting. We need to vote. And there's just a lot of cool, I mean, anyway, so we don't know a lot about this. I guess it's worth money. I don't know. How many records are in it? There should be, my wife looked it up on Discogs. Yeah, there's 4 records. So it has the whole collection in it, according to Discogs. What is it worth? 150?
$115.
115.
Says
115.
it's rare.
It's rare, $115. So this guy, you know, just people don't know what they have. There's nothing good in there. There's nothing worth anything in there. 115 bucks. Chicago, Illinois. Illinois in the house.
Plus, I got Judy Garland.
Judy Garland, yeah, we've got a lot of really, I can't remember everything we got. A lot of cool classic stuff, blues stuff, jazz stuff. I mean, you know, nothing big that you might, but there's some really cool jazz stuff we got too. Oh, Billie Holiday. We got a box set of Billie Holiday records. We're up to number 16, an album from a friend. So my friend Sean Spins over there in Philadelphia, the same place where the iconic Cinderella's from. Anyway, so Lost Cat. This is a band from, I believe, Washington, D.C. Sean picked up a cassette tape for, and then they released this LP. This was recorded a while back. They did a tour in 2022. 2015 is when this was recorded. This is some killer girl punk stuff, man. Women in punk rock are just been amazing lately. This is Lost Cat. Lost Cat is cool. Put that in your streamer. If you enjoy some punk rock, you gotta check out Lost Cat. Favorite reissue from 2022. I feel like I've talked about it a lot. I talked about it on my last vinyl tag. I'll do another reissue that's a favorite that I just bought. The only time I've ever seen this record, even in kind of beat quality, was, I mean, it was over $100. The first reissue, first ever vinyl pressing of the 40th anniversary remaster. So this is Motley Crue, Too Fast for Love. Just picked this up today. Number 18, an album you didn't expect to love so much. All right, so I'm wearing the shirt, man. I'll tell you what. I like Ghost. Like, I've heard some of their music before this album. But this album was just incredible. I was really like, oh my God, this is really good. There it is. Ghost. Impera. An album that reminds you of a best friend. So this one is kind of hard. And this is one of the few albums that I have from my original collection. I, like a lot of people, went into CDs. I kind of went into cassette tapes before CDs because I drive a lot. I drove a lot for work. I drive a lot for work today. So this is one of my, from that I bought this album when it came out in the 80s. Dancing Undercover, Rat. Reminds me of my buddy Dave. We had a fire and things got wet. So there was some water damage to the jacket on this one. But I did buy this new. This is a cool record. Rat. Rat's a great band. We saw Rat live. Dave and I saw Rat. Again, Dave and I saw a lot of bands. But the Rat story is a cool story. And I'll put a link in the description to that story, my rat poison story. Because when we saw Rat, there was this new band that was opening for them called Poison. They were new back then. And it was amazing. But we brought rats. So my buddy Dave and I had pet rats, and they would travel with us sometimes. Would sit on our shoulder. So we snuck our rats into the Rat concert, and then Dave lost his rat. But there's a happy ending to that story, and you can watch that video later. So that's my buddy Dave. The Rat reminds me of Dave. It's one of his favorite bands. All right, an album that transports you musically. So this is Def Leppard, High and Dry. And this reminds me of, it transports me to the time when I moved back from Adak, Alaska to here. And this was an album I bought. This isn't the original album I bought, but I bought this album there on Adak. and brought it home. But this is my favorite Def Leppard album. All right, this album freaking rocks. So this was like a bit of an escape for me. Def Leppard's High and Dry, just a jammin', rockin' freaking album. Amazing. I love this album. My mom divorced my dad when I was 7. Remarried a stepdad. That wasn't working out, so I went to live with my dad and my stepmom in the middle of the Aleutian Islands. This is like 1983 during the Cold War. We were closer to mainland Russia than we were to Anchorage, so that was weird. My mom had just divorced stepdad number 2, and I wanted to come back to civilization. So this is sort of an album that brings me back, transports me to that time sometimes when I listen to it. It was not good either. I mean, this is a great album, rock and roll album, but just the time was an interesting time for me. Going through a lot as a young youth, rock and roll crazy person at the time. You're still here? Sincerely, thanks for watching. And I mean, we're basically buds now, so you might as well subscribe, hit the bell icon, like the video. I mean, again, you made it this far. Later. Bye.